I think I understand how Caroline Flack felt. Last week, if my daughters hadn't been there, then I wouldn't be here. And they've guarded me and won't let me out of their sight. It's like a weird numbness. I know that's a selfish point of view, but you come to a point where you just think, how much are you supposed to take? If all of those people that write all of that stuff, do they ever think that there's actually a person at the other end? And so, here I am.
Yeah. Are you feeling okay to do this? Are you feeling strong enough to do this interview?
Yeah, I have to.
Why? Why do you want to do this interview?
Because there is an innocent person here who didn't do anything wrong. Who is vulnerable and probably feels like I do. And I just have to say, stop with him. Okay with me, but stop with him. Leave him alone now.
You mention this young man, and at the centre of recent events is a young man who, together with many others in the media we're not going to name, under Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, he has a right to privacy, and he's not here today to give his own account of events. When did you last speak to him?
As I engaged the lawyer for him. He needed independent support, and so that was the last time.
Is that a few weeks ago now?
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Okay. How concerned are you about his welfare right now?
Massively. Massively concerned.
When did you first meet this young man in question? What were the circumstances?
I was invited by a friend of mine to go to open a drama school, and that's where the picture was taken. Whether it was immediately or sometime after, he said, will you follow him on Twitter because he's a fan? So I said, yeah, sure, no problem, which I did.
And he was, what, 15 at the time?
Yeah.
And this is over a
But
decade ago.
I follow 11,300 people, and in all the time I've been on Twitter, there has never been any whiff of impropriety.
And how often were you in touch with him?
Hardly at all. He then said that he was interested in television. Okay, good luck. Anything I can do to help? Probably. That's what I normally say. And that was it for a while. And then he asked if he could visit the studios, work experience type of thing. I said, well, you come down and have a look for sure, which he did.
How old was he when he first said to you, I'm interested in television? Was he 18 by that point?
19 then, I would think.
He was 19 by then. When you look back now, if you were to look back at those messages now, is there any sense in which you were flirting with him?
No. I've been 41 years in television. Nothing like this before. No accusations. I mean, this is all, accusations.
And then when you met him in person, was there a little moment of sexual attraction then even?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so to be absolutely clear, how old was this young man when you first had any kind of sexual contact with him?
20.
20. This is obviously the nub of it, and for the record, and to put speculation to rest, let me ask you directly, did you have any kind of sexual relationship or sex with him when he was underage?
No, God, no. That, I think that is, and in my statement, it says, consensual relationship, fully legal. I mean, that was approved by both sides. That's, no. He'd been working at the show for a few months, and we become mates. We were mates. Around the studios, you hang out together, you chat to each other, that sort of stuff. And then in my dressing room one day, something happened. Which, obviously I will regret forever, for him and for me, mostly him. But that happened maybe 4 or 5 times over the next few months. And I know it's unforgivable. But we weren't boyfriends, we weren't in a relationship. I was really in a mess with my own sexuality at the time. And it just happened.
How old was he at this stage?
20, 21.
Who knew on the team?
Nobody. To my knowledge. I mean, somebody has to know something for there to be a rumour later on. I didn't believe that anybody knew.
And did you ever tell Holly Willoughby?
No, God, no. That's a bigger question, because we have, our makeup room was like a sanctuary, has always been a sanctuary. So you tell everything in that room. Holly knows everything about me. I know everything about Holly. Holly did not know. Nobody knew.
And you never told her?
No, I didn't tell anybody.
I mean, the reason this matters is because it is about potential abuse of power. And
I understand that. And that is a very, very valid question to put to me.
And people would say the circumstances are as follows here. You met someone who was a child, you were in a position of power over them, you used your power eventually to give them something they craved, which was a shot at a job in the media, you nurtured a relationship, and then that relationship became sexual. And they might ask, what's the difference between that and grooming?
Well, I would say that your initial list of things was not right anyway.
Tell me, why?
Because it was a totally innocent picture, a totally innocent Twitter follow, of which I follow 11,400 people, and then it was a completely innocent backwards and forwards over a period of time about a job, about careers. What's wrong with talking to someone, no matter what age they are? Does that mean that if you're following anyone on Twitter, that you absolutely don't talk to anybody else, or you don't give advice? So I disagree with the summation that you just gave, because that does paint a very grave picture.
Do you know if he has signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement preventing him from speaking?
No.
You don't know if
he has? No. Did I make him sign an NDA? No, absolutely not.
But there's a question of whether or not he was, as it were, paid off. And
No.
in effect, if he was paid off,
No.
was he paid for his silence?
No, God, no.
No. So is he free to speak if he wants to?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, what he wants is for all of this to go away.